Hey witches! I know it's been a minute since I've done a live video. I plan to do one tonight, a haul, but I came across this when I was looking up some stuff to do my in bulk bonfire that I always do, and I found this article about the 9 sacred woods to use in a bonfire. So hopefully you can access some of these, and these go back to ancient times. I will link this article just in case you want to read it in detail. But the first one is birch. Birch is the first tree to grow back after a forest fire, so it's associated with rebirth, and regeneration. Workings using birch add momentum and a bit of extra oomph to new endeavors. And it's also associated with magic done for creativity and fertility, as well as healing and protection. It is the first month in the Celtic tree calendar. If you haven't seen that, there's a link right here that'll take you directly to that, and you can learn about that. And that's in the link. You can also use these branches to create your own besom, which, of course, a besom is used not to fly. You can fly on a besom or a broom, a larger besom, if you want to do so during astral travel, but that's not going to happen. I saw this ridiculous security footage of this witch doing this stupid ass thing. I will probably screen record it and talk over it because it was so stupid. But anyway, you can use that to clear negative energy, to just remove stagnant energy and get ready for new beginnings. And you can also use it in spells and rituals related to enhancements, renewal, and purification, fresh starts, and new beginnings. I will definitely be using some of this birch because I need a new beginning after what's happened to me last year at the end. And if you follow me, you know what I'm talking about. If not, I'm not going to mention it again because it's going to make me depressed. So one of my favorites is roll-on, especially to use for in bulk because this is Brigid's sacred wood. This is her sacred thing. And the Brigid oils that I order, they always have a roll-on berry at the bottom. I couldn't figure out it was for a minute, but then I thought, duh, that's what that is. But it's known by the Celts as the Ogham symbol Louise. Sorry, that's not the right way to pronounce it, guys. My mind's still mush. But it's pronounced Louche. The roll-on is associated with astral travel, personal power, and success. So if you were wanting to do a job spell or just a crown of success spell, even a road opener, anything that's going to bring you success, job success, success in anything in life, you could use this. A charm carved into a bit of a roll-on twig will protect the wearer from harm. The Norsemen were known to have used these branches as rune staves of protection. In some countries, roll-on is planted in graveyards to prevent the dead from lingering around too long. It's also associated with Brigid, as I said. And then, stupid ad, ash. When you're using ash, you need to remember that it relates to Odin. And that's really important in our religion. It's also known as the world tree for 9 days and nights, so that he might be granted wisdom. You got Yggdrasil, I can't read right, guys, right now, was an ash tree, and since the time of Odin's ordeal, the ash has often been associated with divination and knowledge. In some Celtic legends, it's also seen as a tree sacred to Lu. So, of course, you could use that for Lanasa because of the close association, not only with the divine, but with knowledge. Ash can be worked with a number of spells, rituals, and workings associated with ocean rituals, magical potency, prophetic dreams, and spiritual journeys. You can also use it to make magical and mundane tools, and they're said to be more productive made from tools of other wood. So you could use it to make a staff, a wand, a broom, anything your witchy heart desires. But one thing this doesn't mention is using it in sun magic. So since it's sacred to Lu, you could probably use it in sun magic as well. Alder is the next one. It's associated with making spiritual decisions, magic relating to prophecy and divination, and getting in touch with your own intuitive process and abilities. So if you're wanting to reach within, you should work with alder. Alder flowers and twigs are known as charms to be used in fairy magic. So if you were to plant one of these in your yard, that would be a great idea if you work with the fae. But be careful working with the fae because they're tricksters and you have to work with them correctly so they don't fuck with you because they like to. And I'm going to do a whole video on the fae. I'm working on my notes right now. Whistles were once made out of alder shoots to call upon air spirits, so it's an ideal wood for making a pipe or flute. I feel like since it's also dealing with air, you could do a wand with it. And it also represents the evolving spirit and is represented by the Ogham symbol fern. So willow. Willow is my favorite tree, not because of its properties, but just because it's a badass looking tree. I love willow trees. My neighbor has one, and I'm like, why didn't you put that in my yard and give her the crepe myrtle? But I love my crepe myrtle. But anyway, enough about that. A willow planted near your home will help protect you and ward away danger, particularly the type that stems from natural disasters such as flooding or storms. So if you live in one of these dangerous areas like Tornado Alley or somewhere near hurricanes on the coast, you might want to plant a willow. They offer protection and they're often planted near cemeteries. In addition to use it as a healing herb, willow was also harvested for wicker work. Baskets, small curicles, and even beehives were constructed with this bendable, flexible wood. This wood is related to healing, growth of knowledge, nurturing, and women's mysteries, and is also represented by the Celtic Ogham symbol, sail. So, some spells that you could use this with, definitely protection spells. This would be ideal for that. Hawthorn. The hawthorn is associated with magic related to masculine power, business decision, making professional connections. The hawthorn is also associated with the realm of the fae. So again, if you're working with the fae, you might want to plant a hawthorn. I actually have 2 of these. And when the hawthorn grows in tandem with ash and oak, it's said to attract the fae. So if you want to attract the fae, plant that trifecta of trees and leave them offerings. And I'll share with you in the fae video after I make it. I'll link it below. And you can kind of use that with this. It grows in tandem with ash and oak. It is said to attract the fae. So if you grow those 3 together, welcome the fae. This prickly thorn tree is associated with cleansing, protection, and defense. So if you needed to get back at somebody, not a revenge thing, but like a block, or possibly even a return to sender, like if somebody sent some shit your way, you could send it back. And add hawthorn, the branches, the berries, the leaves, whatever you can get together, and do that. You can also tie a thorn with red ribbon and use it as a protective amulet in your home, or place a bundle of thorns under a baby's crib to keep bad energy away. Be careful that you get rid of those once the baby's old enough to get under the bed, because you don't want them to get hurt. It's also represented by the Celtic Ogham symbol, Huath. And I hope I'm pronouncing all these words correctly. I've seen them many times, but I haven't looked up how to say them exactly. So one of these trees are so majestic. Whenever I go up to a giant oak tree, I literally hug it. Normally can't fit my arms all the way around it, but I'll say, blessed be ancient tree, and just put my hand on it, send it my energy, and receive its energy in return. And the wind always picks up every single time. It's awesome. But the mighty oak is strong. It represents strength. It's powerful. It's typically towering over all of its neighbors. My grandmother has 2 in her front yard, and they are the most beautiful trees. They're hundreds of years old. They're just gorgeous. But the Oak King, if you need to learn who the Oak King is, click on that link. You should know, but if not, click on that because you need to know that. But the Oak King rules over the summer months, and this tree was sacred to the Druids. The Celts called this month Duir, which scholars believe to mean door, the root of the word Druid. The oak is connected with spells for protection and strength, fertility, money and success, and good fortune. So I would also think abundance workings, anything where you wanted to draw stuff in, this would be great. In many pre-Christian societies, the oak was often associated with the leaders of the gods Zeus, Thor, Jupiter, and so forth. So you've got ties to Jupiter, which is great for bringing in fortune and abundance. And today is Thursday, money day, and the moon is waxing. So if you're wanting to do any of those abundance and money spells, tonight is the night. And I think that the planetary hour of Jupiter tonight for my location here in the south is around 8 o'clock tonight. So anyway, the strength and masculinity of the oak was honored through the worship of these gods. So holly, I love holly, did a lot of work with holly during Yule. And I love it because it just stays healthy. It never looks shitty. It always looks good. It's just beautiful. It's so virile. But the ancients used the wood of the holly in the construction of weapons, but also in protective magic. If you look at the picture, you see the leaves have those little pricks. And when you have those, even with thorns or it's in the leaves, that's always going to tie into protection. You can hang a sprig of holly in your house to ensure luck and safety for your family. I said that during my Yule video. You can wear it as a charm or make holly water by soaking leaves overnight in spring water under a full moon. In the Christian British Isles, the holly was also often associated with protection. Planting a hedge around your home would keep malevolent spirits out, thanks in no small part to the sharp spikes of the leaves. Like I said, pokey equals good when you're talking about protection. In Celtic myth, the concept of the Holly King and the Oak King symbolizes the changing of the seasons and the transition of the earth from the growing time to the dying season, so the cycle of life. Holly is represented by the autumn season 10, or 10A. I think that's 10A. Hazel is another one. Hazel is often associated. I'm sorry, I can't talk, guys. Please forgive me. The loss of my mother has apparently taken away my loss to fucking read. In Celtic lore, with sacred wells and magical springs containing the salmon of knowledge. This is a good month to do workings related to wisdom and knowledge, dowsing and divination, and dream journeys. Hazel was a handy tree to have around. It was used by many English pilgrims to make staffs for use upon the road. Not only was it a sturdy walking stick, but it also provided self-defense for weary travelers. Certainly it would have been used as well for ritual. Hazel is used in weaving baskets by medieval folk, was used, and the leaves were fed to the cattle because it was believed that this would increase their supply of milk. It is represented by the Celtic oakum symbol, call. Burn it or not, or cursed you'll be. So in some forms of the Wiccan Read, you'll see these lines. 9 woods in the cauldron go, burn them quick, burn them slow. Elder be, yea, lady's tree, burn it not, or cursed you'll be. And if you follow one of the many forms of Wicca that adheres to the Read, you may want to heed this warning and avoid burning elder in your ritual bonfire. Obviously, if your tradition does not follow the Read, you can overlook that. So I just thought that was really cool. And if you haven't checked out the Celtic Tree Month, do that because it's so interesting. Or the Celtic Tree Year, sorry. It's so interesting. But that's what's in there. And try to do some of these things, and don't forget that the May full moon is when you're going to do, hopefully, your bonfire and dedicate it to the goddess Hecate, because that's one of her sacred nights, and a bonfire is great to celebrate that and honor her. Just make sure you formally dedicate it to her. I will usually say something, walk around it with bells, and then say something else. And then normally the wind will pick up, dogs will start barking, all kinds of crazy shit happening, owls hooting. But do that and let me know how it goes. And that's all I have, witches. I'll see you later on tonight for a haul. I just need about 500 more hours of watch time so I can get monetized. Not that I'm out here for money. I just don't want to have wasted all this and come so close and missed it, because you got to do it within a year. So anyway, guys, help me out and blessed be. Like, subscribe, and share. Bye.